Hello, Facebook users and YouTubers alike. Welcome to the Disney Bracket. Now, as you can clearly see, I am using Loilo Game Recorder to record this because I want to walk you through my justifications of every single one of my choices. And let's not waste any more time. Let's get started with round one. In round one, we have The Lion King and Tarzan. I really do like both of these movies. They both have an interesting story. They have really good, compelling characters. They have nice twists on, what is going to do. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I believe that The Lion King is far, far more memorable and better than Tarzan. Not because Tarzan is bad, but because I think that Lion King was just such a groundbreaking film when it came out, and honestly, it's one of Disney's biggest properties, and they love to market this to everything. Anyway, next we have Princess and the Frog and Lilo and Stitch. Well, this one's actually kind of tough because as much as I love The Princess and the Frog for its return to roots, it's their last 2D animated movie so far. And Lilo and Stitch is an underrated gem as far as their early 2000s films go, because they did not have a lot of critical or financial successes in the early 2000s. But if I'm being totally honest with myself, I would have to say that the better movie is honestly Lilo and Stitch. So that's where I am for that. All right. Next is Tangled and Big Hero 6. I'm at a slight disadvantage with this one because I've not seen Tangled in its entirety, but I do know the story, I know the characters, I know a lot of the music. Big Hero 6, however, is honestly, it's one of my favorites. So maybe I feel a little biased to it, but the fact that one of the main characters is a giant huggable robot, really. And besides, who cannot fall in love with, "Hello, I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion"? Who cannot love him? Who cannot love Baymax? Alright, next is Frozen and Moana, both of which I have seen, and both of which I am very, very torn apart over, but I am going to get a lot of flack for this, I assume. But honestly, Moana is the better movie. Don't kill me. Okay. Aladdin versus Hercules. This one to me is kind of a no-brainer. Aladdin, while it is ethically flawed and kind of hastily put together and kind of has a bad moral at the end, ultimately the moral it's trying to get across is fine, and it has far more memorable characters. It has a pretty good setup. Hercules is, honestly, to me, it's just a really, really confusing and oddly put together movie, and I just can't get past it. The Little Mermaid versus Pocahontas. Well, I hate both of these movies, so I have no leg to stand on here. But as much as it pains me to say it, if I have to choose between these two, the one that gets under my skin less, honestly, is Pocahontas. Because I really, really do not like The Little Mermaid. And let's stretch this out here. Actually, let's see if we can make this font smaller. Smaller so it can fill the bracket. Maybe a little smaller? Sure, whatever. Yeah, the rest of this is just literally just going to be me arguing with this font. I really, yeah, but I don't know what it is. I just really, really cannot stand The Little Mermaid. I just think it's annoying. I think Ariel is annoying. Under the Sea is not the worst song I've ever heard, but people only like it because of the steel drum part, I think. And it's, I'm moving on. Mulan versus Zootopia. Huh. Well, they're two totally different kinds of movies, there is that, and I do actually like both Mulan and Zootopia. Have seen them both. I've seen Mulan multiple times because that was like the go-to movie that they would always show us in middle school. But to be completely honest, I don't remember a whole lot about Zootopia. Other than the race relations message. Can't talk, but I'm gonna go with Mulan for this one. All right, and finally we have Beauty and the Beast and Nightmare Before Christmas. Huh. Two wonderful, wonderful movies in their own right. But it's really not fair that they've pitted them together because I love both of these movies. But I have to say, there is one thing that Beauty and the Beast has over Nightmare Before Christmas, and that it has great YTP fodder. And that's not the only reason I'm picking it. I'm picking it because it's a very Disney-esque movie, and it's one of their best properties. Honestly, I think out of the 4 or 5 films that made up the Disney Renaissance, actually I'm gonna go ahead and say 6 films that made up the Disney Renaissance: Great Mouse Detective, Rescuers Down Under, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. Out of those 6, my personal favorite, if I had to choose from those 6, would be Beauty and the Beast. Alright, so going back up here, we have Up versus Brave. Moving on. Toy Story versus Toy Story 2. See, this one's a little bit tricky because Toy Story, the original Toy Story, is a great masterpiece that revolutionized animation and film in general. Toy Story 2 is a great sequel, and it does everything a sequel is supposed to do. It expands the story, it introduces new characters, it introduces new problems, and I just have no idea. I just have no idea which one I should go with, but the animation in Toy Story 2 is better, pretty much because it was the late 90s, and they were getting more used to animating humans. But when all is said and done, I'm going to go with the original Toy Story. Alright, next. Coco versus Cars 3. Moving on. Toy Story 3 versus The Good Dinosaur. I know one of the actors who was in The Good Dinosaur, and I do like the movie. In Toy Story 3, honestly, it was kind of just Toy Story 3 to me was just like, it was a nostalgic cash grab, honest to God, and I did not really care for the ending that much. So, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but my opinion, Good Dinosaur is better than Toy Story 3, to be completely honest. Ratatouille versus A Bug's Life. Well, the thing about Ratatouille is that it has a really, really unique setup, and Bug's Life had that weird conflict going on with ants when it first came out. So I'm going to go with Ratatouille. Down here we have Finding Nemo versus Inside Out. I'd honestly be more okay watching my kids let Inside Out than Finding Nemo, because Finding Nemo has, for the longest time, been the ultimate staple of what to show your children. But Inside Out, honestly, I think it could teach them more that... It teaches them more that emotions are natural. Emotions are important, and it's important to deal with them. Monsters, Inc. versus Cars. Moving on. And finally, down here, we have what appears to be The Incredibles versus WALL-E. Ooh, that is a tough matchup. I think WALL-E in the first half is kind of an acquired taste because it's done without dialogue, and then the rest of the movie introduces, you know, a different part of humanity that services the story, and it's a great message about it. You know, it's a great message about anti-pollution and everything. But The Incredibles, no pun intended, was an incredible movie that took the idea of superhero movies and just did something that was so unique with them that I just don't have any idea how else they're going to continue it in The Incredibles 2, which I'm so excited about. But here's my problem between the two of these. I remember the entire cast of characters from The Incredibles. WALL-E, I can only name about maybe 3. So its memorability gets it some leeway here. The Incredibles. Okay, so that's the first part of the bracket. So everybody who moved on from round 1, let's go to here. Okay, so first we have, between all of my choices, The Lion King versus Lilo and Stitch. Wow, that is actually kind of hard. Between the two of them, I'm going to have to give this one to The Lion King because it's far more memorable in all the right ways. So let's reposition that to lower down here. There we go. Here we have Big Hero 6 versus Moana. Big Hero 6 and Moana. I'm going to have to go here. I'm going to have to make the argument because of music. Moana utilized the music of Lin-Manuel Miranda, who everybody who's a Broadway fan will recognize as the guy who wrote Hamilton and In the Heights. But Big Hero 6 features one song by Fall Out Boy, Immortals. And I cannot get enough of Immortals. I love that song so much, but I can't really ignore the master at work, really. So this one goes to Moana, and I will reposition her name down here. And I did not realize for the longest time Moana actually means ocean. I thought that was kind of interesting. Aladdin versus Pocahontas. This one's a no-brainer. This one is a huge no-brainer. Mulan versus Beauty and the Beast. Huh. Well, if I'm going off of a lot of the other tropes that I'm taking into consideration, which is things like music, memorability, emotional investment, things like that. If I'm going off of what I'm basing my decisions on, really, then I would have to say, I could name a few characters from Mulan. However, I can name virtually every character from Beauty and the Beast because they are all so unique. They are a great ensemble cast. And I just don't think that you can really beat that cast. They are so unique and charming in all the right ways. Alright, let's go back up to here. And whoa, these are all over the place. So here we have Up versus Toy Story. Up has fewer characters, and Toy Story has more. But here's the thing: Up has fewer characters, and they're all given a lot of development. Toy Story has 4 times as many, but they're all super unique and memorable for all of the right reasons. But to be completely fair, the emotional stakes in Toy Story come from the fact that Woody and Buzz are trying to get home the entire time. With Up, the first 5 minutes have you captivated completely, so as much as I would hate to shelve it, I have to give this one to Up. Coco versus The Good Dinosaur. I'm gonna have to go with Coco. For as much as I do like The Good Dinosaur, it's kind of a mess. It is kind of a mess, but I do still like the movie. But like I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for saying it's better than Toy Story 3, but honestly, when you heard that they were making a Toy Story 3, were you excited or to see your favorite characters come back and do a thing, or do a thing and then just mess with your emotions? Because that's exactly what they did. It was literally just playing off of your nostalgia the entire time, and I really don't like movies that do that. So, oh, that's unique. Haha, I fixed it. Alright, Ratatouille versus Inside Out. Again, memorability. Memorability factor being called into play here, so I'm going to go with Inside Out. Monsters, Inc. versus The Incredibles. Okay, now I've backed myself into a corner because both of these are great. Now I'm... Okay, so... But they both all share factors that I've stated before. They have memorable characters, they have unique stories, they have interesting spins on certain situations. I'm a little stumped as to which one I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna go with The Incredibles because of Syndrome. Randall is a good villain, but I have this sneaking suspicion that Syndrome will pretty much be forever like... Syndrome will pretty much forever be the best Pixar villain, in my opinion. Thick Incredible. Yeah, let's just put it on. Let's do this. Transparent selection. Come on. Seriously? Really? Come on. Alright, whatever. Whatever. I've ruined my bracket anyway. From a visual standpoint, I don't care if you think I've ruined it because of movies, because this is all objectively opinions. That's literally all it is. It's literally all it is. If you don't agree, then you don't agree. I don't expect you to agree with me. Alright, Lion King versus Moana. Alright, now this is getting hard. Now this is getting really, really hard. Well, Moana has a more diverse music set. Lion King's is very true to its geographic area. They both have great characters. But I think for this one, I'm gonna go with... I should pick the text box instead of the selection box. But for this one, I'm going to give it to Moana. Primarily because the music is a lot more diverse. We're spending a lot of time with two characters who are journeying, taking their journey. And I feel more invested with them than I do with the adult Simba that we barely get any time with before they throw a monkey wrench in his development. And Moana stays consistent throughout the entire thing. Simba goes through his arc too, but ultimately it's hard for me to feel any sympathy for him at the end of the day because, you know, he's basically running away from his problems. Moana's confronting them head on even though she doesn't know what she's doing, and she's a great character. Okay, Aladdin versus Beauty and the Beast. Oh man, this is hard. This one is just... I want to pick both, but I can't. So let's say I have reasons for everything. I love both of these movies so much. But one that I cannot get enough of, but the one between these two that I cannot get enough of, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jessica, if you're sorry I'm watching, but I have to give this to Aladdin. I don't care if it's in the thing anymore. Alright, so scrolling back upward, we have Up versus Coco. I'm gonna have to give this... I'm literally just gonna have to give this one to Up. Because I just cannot get over the first... I can't get over the first 5 minutes of the movie. Inside Out versus The Incredibles. I do love both of these movies. They are super great, and they are just about everything I want in an animated movie. But I will go with... But honestly, the fact that we're getting more Incredibles come this summer just makes me excited for it, and the fact that there will be 2 of them. So I'm going to go with Inside Out. Because you may or may not know, but I think I've told multiple people that Inside Out is actually my favorite Pixar movie. Alright, so now we have Moana versus Aladdin. And if I'm being 100% honest with myself, then I am going to choose Moana. Up versus Inside Out. I will have to go with Inside Out. So now it comes down to Moana and Inside Out. And if you will give yourself a drum roll, my pick that wins this bracket, I want them to make more Disney brackets because this is not all of these movies. The pick that I choose for my champion of this bracket Moana. I love this movie. I cannot get enough of it. And it's a well put together movie that I think needs to be seen by everybody. So thank you very much for joining me. And I will see you when I see you.